so much for checking out the Sportsline Podcast on our very own CHCH media platform. I'm Bubba O'Neill. Hey, as we like to say in these parts, if you can make it in Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara, you can make it anywhere. And it's those athletes, teams, executives, and broadcasters who take the spotlight on the Sportsline Podcast. In a few days, Oakville native Kurtis Rourke will lead Indiana University into South Bend as the Hoosiers look to upset the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in a matchup of 11-1 football squads. The record-breaking 23-year-old, who's the younger brother of BC Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke, is a second-team All-Big Ten player and is a finalist for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award as the NCAA's top senior quarterback. As the Hoosiers enter uncharted territory in the college football playoff, Kurtis Rourke hosted a first-ever exclusive meeting with the Canadian sports media. Let's hear from the QB, who's known as the Maple Missile.
Kurtis, congrats on an unbelievable season, man. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Thank you.
I'm just curious, from your standpoint, did you believe that when you stepped on campus at Indiana that you could lead the Hoosiers into the CFP? Was that one of the team's goals, or what was your thought process going into the season, knowing where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that we're able to be in the spot we're at, but it was definitely one of our goals is to win as many games as we could, and stepping on campus, getting to know the guys, getting to know the coaches and the scheme that we had. I did feel like there's something special and we could make a run if we put it together. And so as the season's gone on, I felt like more and more confidence, and I know the team as well has felt the same, that the more we've won, the more we've handled the adversities and everything like that, that we could do this. And so it's pretty surreal thinking about a year ago I committed to come here and didn't know much about it, but pretty awesome that we've made it this far.
I know you and Nathan are really close. How much has he helped you through this process of deciding to go to Indiana, becoming a Big Ten all-star, becoming a star down there, all the NFL draft interest in you and your draft stock rising? Like, how much has he talked to you about that interest at the college level, but then also dealing with what's next in the NFL?
Yeah, it was a lot of conversations, especially during this time with family and Nathan, and he just basically said you got to prove that you can play against better competition and in a bigger league in front of a more national stage, and believe that you can, and see what happens, and so it's been great to go through the season knowing that I can play in this league and play with these guys, and it's just been great to have Nathan alongside, and just encouraging me, and we just be able to talk about ball, but talk about life, and just having that someone who's done it, who's been through the college experience, been through NFL experiences, and now professional CFL, and having those experiences to kind of learn from and also bounce questions off of. It's been quite beneficial to have him in my corner.
Britton, go ahead.
Kurtis, have you just taken a moment to kind of take in the season? I mean, the awards you're up for and everything. You're going against Notre Dame in the college football playoff. Like, have you taken a moment to just really sit back and say, "Wow, this is what a senior season"?
Yeah, 100%. Just especially the last couple of weeks of a little more downtime and everything, and just be able to kind of look back at the year that I've had, and the journey that it's taken to get here, and all the work that's had to go in for this whole team in order to reach and be where we are. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity and the pieces that God put in my life for this year. And it motivates me even more knowing that this season's gone so well so far, and that now we're at a one and done kind of playoff scenario. So just got to get the opportunity to go out there and play one more game, and because that's all we're given, and so I'm just excited to continue that because it's been a great year so far.
Curtis, I'm just curious. Obviously, NFL draft year. You're also kind of CFL draft on the radar. Does that do you like do stuff during the season to kind of get ready for that, or does that happen after the season's done when those workouts really start?
Yeah. The only thing I've really done for the post college is just get an agent and figure out where I'm going to train once the season ends, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, I've just got an agent and figured out where I'm going to train postseason, and then we'll address that when it gets to. But it's been nice not to worry or have to stress too much about the next level, especially during the season.
Justin, go ahead.
Curtis, who is your agent and where will you train after the season?
Casey Muir from Octagon, someone I had a good relationship with for a while, even at Ohio. And then I'm going to train in X3 down in Fort Myers with, yeah.
Nice. That's a great spot, man.
Oh, yeah. Hey, gotta go someplace warm, different than this weather right now.
Yeah. I'm curious, can you take me through the details of what happened with your thumb, the injury, the surgery, coming back, and where it's at now?
Yeah. So in the Nebraska game, I basically followed through and hit my hand on defender's hand as well, and kind of broke one of the small bones right here. Kind of just broke on impact. Thought it was the nail. Kind of the nail was all messed up too, so I thought it was just the nail, and so I tried to keep going. Ended up realizing it was broken at halftime through an X-ray, and I got surgery on Monday, which was really awesome. Repaired it, put two screws in both of the sides, and then it was kind of just like how great the surgeon was and how great the surgery went would depend on the recovery time. Dr. Reddick did a really great job, so he was optimistic about the rest of the season, and then it was kind of just spending a lot of time in the training room trying to really get back as fast as I could. Really had a great surrounding and supporting staff that helped me get back as soon as I could. And as the week went on, I realized that Michigan State might be a possibility. And I just wanted to grip a ball, wanted to see how fast I could do that, and I was able to do that, I think, by the Saturday, so a week before the game. Just kept progressing really well, and so came up with a bunch of different options to help with grip. That's why I had the thumb glove, because I needed a little bit of tackiness, because it was still kind of puffy and swollen. But I didn't want to miss too many games. It was hard missing that Washington game, just based on the year we had. But knew the team would have my back. But as soon as I could get back, I could, and just really blessed to just play Michigan State 12 days later. So yeah.
Would you say it's at 100% now? And sort of a second question, do you anticipate, or have you already gotten an invite to the NFL Combine?
I hope to. I love to get an invite to the Combine. That was one of my goals, honestly, when I got to college, which seems forever ago. But that'd be awesome. Yeah, my thumb feels 100% now.
Thanks, Curtis.
Thank you.
CH editors, go ahead.
Hey there, Curtis. It's Bubba from Oakville back in CHCH in Hamilton. Congratulations on all you've done, and certainly what's all to come for you. I'm going to take you back to your high school days. And in fact, I'll go maybe a little further back. When your brother was doing high school games, and I was actually calling some of those games, were you ever looking at him and saying to yourself, in terms of visualization, hey, I can do that? And how far back does this sort of football dream stretch back for you?
Yeah. A lot of people know, I initially started playing football and quarterback because Nathan did, and because of his passion. And then as I started playing, I really developed a love, for myself. And but watching him play growing up was a real treat. I mean, he was, being able to watch someone who's your brother that's out there making plays like he was, and be able to run around and create those, highlight plays all the time. I mean, it was awesome to just see him and look up to him in that aspect. And so, yeah, I definitely felt like I was like, I could do that. I want to do that. I want to be able to play at the level that he was, but, it's a pretty high level to play at. And so, I knew there's a lot of work that needed to be put in to get to that level. And it's great having, him 2.5 years, older than me, because, he'll be able to show me how it's done, and we be able to, work and compete together and stuff. And so, it's been just a really, really real blessing to have him, and just the person and player he was, could help me push to who I am as a player now, even though our play styles aren't as similar. But, it was just the drive that really helped motivate me, because, if he could do it, I want to have the opportunity to as well myself.
When you look at your duties as a quarterback from way back then and going through all the different levels of where you've reached right now, little things like command in the huddle, when walking up to the line of scrimmage and scanning over the defense, is it just like way back then, or, with the big crowds, what's that like for someone like us that has seen you go through the different levels?
Mhm.
What's that like in terms of your, progression and progress?
Yeah, I mean, definitely surreal to play in front of as many people as I've had the chance to play in front of. And I'm definitely glad I was able to kind of slowly go up the steps of, playing rep ball, and then up to high school, and then to at Ohio, and then now here, because I had to convince myself a lot of the times that I could play at these levels, could play in front of these people, and these amount of fans at this stage. And so, I think the biggest growth that I've had is that, I've had just more confidence in myself that I could do it, and that was a big thing transferring here. If I didn't think I could do it, I wouldn't have come. And so that was one of the things that I was like, I can do this. I can play here. I can play in front of these people, because, I've done it before. And so, just being able to just slowly progress and play at different levels, different stages, it's been able to help my confidence level, and everything else is just be able to slow down on the field. And that's why I think I've, had opportunity to have good composure on the field. If that makes sense.
I know family and faith is really important for you, your family. You've also been married. I saw you just congratulations on your 6-month anniversary. All that in terms of your family and your backers, like when you think of them and what they've done for you in terms of your support, how does that warm your heart, I guess, quite honestly?
Yeah, I mean, family has been so big in my life, and just all the sacrifices that my parents made growing up, and then my brother, and then now my wife, and everything. Just looking back, and all the people that have been so influential in my life, and who have believed in me, and wanted to help me out, because they saw that I could, I had the opportunity to reach my dreams and achieve those goals and stuff. And so, just so grateful for the family that I've been surrounded with, and the wife that I have, and just the ultimate support system, and just also knowing that I have a holy God that's got my back, and no matter what, will always be proud of me, no matter what I do. I mean, it's stress relieving, knowing that I can just go out there and play, and not in knowing that no matter what, people are proud of me.
Going to South Bend and bust them up there, brother.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
All right.
All right, we'll go to Dan Ralph next.
Thank you. Thank you, Kurtis, always for your time. Couple of things, if I may. Looking ahead to Notre Dame going to South Bend, crowd noise is going to be an issue there, I would imagine. How do you combat that?
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be as crazy or hostile as environment as Ohio State, but I think Ohio State was a really good learning opportunity for us and the team. Being able to play in that environment, knowing how loud it'll be, and how we'll have to maintain that focus on, what our job is, that play. And so I do expect it to be a pretty great environment. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be a sold out crowd. It's gonna be a really, just really awesome opportunity for us. And so just learning from OSU and knowing that we got to focus on us and block out the noise. And we have some plans in place with silent count if we need to at any point to go to, and silent count that won't be as easily jumpable, as it was in the second half of Ohio State. So, there's a lot of good things in place, but ultimately, I think just learning from the experience at Ohio State to handle it individually as well as an offense.
And lastly, if I may, you went to a school that's predominantly known as a basketball school, and I'm wondering if you feel like the football program this year has put Indiana on the football landscape.
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely say we're a football and basketball school now. I think it's been awesome to go through the season, seeing how the town has really surrounded and supported the football team as, the season's gone on. And just looking at the crowd, the last couple of home games, and honestly, the whole season, they've been supporting, they've been there. At Purdue, the final game of the regular season when it was negative degrees. I mean, we had a sold out crowd and we were full and they were yelling and cheering. And so that's something that wouldn't have happened, years ago. And so, I think this is going to be a football and basketball school for a while, especially with Coach Sig and the staff going on.
Terrific. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Trevor, go ahead.
Hey, Kurtis. So I just wonder if you could tell me the off-season workouts with your brother and Rob Williams in Vancouver. How would you say that has helped you in your development?
Yeah, I think Rob's been awesome. He's been just a really great resource for mechanics and understanding the quarterback position and honestly understanding the body and how it works and how you can maximize power and accuracy and do it all efficiently and stuff. And so, just going back to, honestly, right after COVID, when Nathan was working with him a lot, and then I had the opportunity to get to know him and work with him, and just seeing a lot of the progressions that I've had in the very short periods of time that I was there. I was only there for a week or two at a time, but I felt a lot of growth going through there, and Rob's been just influential, to me, and was able to do a lot of FaceTime calls and set up here and in the indoor and have little like one-on-one sessions just to fine tune mechanics kind of before the season started. And so I feel like a much better quarterback, much more accurate because of Rob. And I just hope at some point I'll be able to get a longer session, longer than just 1 or 2 weeks, just to really fine tune things. And but yeah, he's been awesome, and he's a great person as well. And so it's pretty easy to work with him.
Just one last thing. When we were in Victoria covering the Lions game when Nathan played there, we ran into, I think it was great grandma, and she took time to point out to us that she had 2 grandsons that were quarterbacks. What kind of supporter is she?
She's awesome. I mean, she is definitely one of the best supporters that are in my life. She's I love when she comes and watches games, and when I come back and watch Nathan play, she's been there as well, and just supporting one of the biggest BC Lions fans. She's really just an inspiration as well. I mean, she's almost 100, living on her own, doing things that not a lot of people are able to do, and she's doing at such a great age. And so I'm just able to just look up to her and knowing that she's in great health and able to still cheer us on. So yeah, it means a lot, and I love her very much. So
Okay, thanks for your time.
thank you.
Paul, go ahead.
Kurtis, Paul Lapalese from CFL on TSN. Congrats on a great year, man. It's been fun to watch. 27 TDs, 4 interceptions, 70% completion. Excellent. I got a couple of questions for you. talk to me about the recruitment, when you hit the transfer portal. Like, I kind of read a little bit about it, but like, you came down to three choices. What was the three places and why Indiana? What happened in that portal process?
Yeah. It was the Power Four offers that I was looking for, and I only say those because I was debating to whether to transfer because I wanted to play up, or it was opportunity to go to the NFL last year. And so kind of the four Power Four conferences or teams that I looked at was obviously here, Vanderbilt, BYU, and Wake Forest. Had good conversations with all of them. But Indiana really stood out for three reasons. I really just wanted an opportunity to play. I knew wherever I was going to go, I'd have to compete. And I, even though this is a really good quarterback room that we had, and it was going in the spring as well, I felt like I had a good opportunity to come in and compete. It was a little bit on the younger side, so I felt like I could come in and compete, but I knew I still had to win the job. Secondly, just the coaches. I felt like talking to Coach Signetti, our goals aligned for this year. He wanted to come and he wanted to prove himself. He wanted to prove that he could coach at this level. I wanted to come in. I wanted to prove that I could play at this level. And we both wanted to win. There was no really ulterior motive for us. It was just we want to go in, we want to win. And so we kind of aligned in that, and so we kind of hit it off right away. And going and playing for a guy that has the resume that he has of wherever he goes, he wins. It's kind of hard not to want to come to a place when he's had the track record that he's had. And then finally the scheme, just talking to Coach Tino and Coach Shanahan, just kind of the way that they talk through the offense, the way that they wanted to call it, just made way more sense to me than any of the other places. Just the different thought process that they had. Coach Shanahan's fantastic at knowing when to call plays and everything like that. And so just being able to know that I would come in, I would learn a ton from Coach Tino, and we'd have a really great opportunity to have a good offense. It just made a bunch of sense to me. And so when I came for the visit, kind of sealed the deal for me.
What's your I say this because you watching your tape. I mean, I know it says in the book you're 6'5". Are you 6'5" when the scouts measure you? What are you, 6'4", or what are you?
I'm pretty close to 6'5". I mean, I would say 6'4" 3/4 is what I'll get measured at for like the professional whatever it will be at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you've done a nice job, 800 yards rushing in your career. For a big guy, you've been able to move well. I guess my last question, I'll give it to the other guys, is talk about, obviously people may not know your quarterback coach played in the CFL a number of years. Talk about what's it like in the summer sessions or training camp when you're hearing, is there, hey, did you see the game last night? Did you see the Lions play? Did you see the Riders play? Talk about that. What goes on in your meeting rooms, quarterback meeting rooms, relate to CFL football?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best things and to have Coach Tino play at so many different levels. He played at Pitt, he had a stint in the NFL, and then he played in the CFL, obviously. And just having a coach that's been through it all has been just very, very helpful. He's been able to see, basically every scheme there is, and also being able to handle the diversity things. I think Coach Tino is not just a great schematic coach and knows how to coach, football. He's also been through a lot in his personal, quarterback journey, and so he's able to help us, as well with character and how to deal with certain things with, whether that's leadership on a team, whatever that is, because he's had so many experiences and has been around, and so. And then also, him being on Saskatchewan for so long and or for a couple of years, be able to talk about that. Now, a ton of people here that I talk to know or watch CFL like he does, and so it was good to be able to chop it up, and especially when Nathan joined mid-season, with the Lions, we were able to talk about that and everything, and kind of how the games still football, but a little different rules and everything like that. I don't have to explain it to anybody. So, it's pretty nice to have a coach with that experience.
Well, I appreciate the time, Kurtis. Good luck down the road.
Of course. Thank you.
We'll go to Lucas next and then Justin.
Hey, Kurtis, thanks for making time today for the Canadian media, and Greg, for all your help with this. I just wanted to, you hopefully have got 4 more games to play in your collegiate career, coming from Canada, playing at Ohio, playing with your brother, pandemic, what happened this offseason, going to Indiana. How do you sum up your collegiate journey and career to this point? And hopefully there's still 4 more games, but how do you sum it up?
Yeah. I think it's ultimately just I'm just grateful, and it's just a blessing for how this whole 6 years have been. Just honestly, having 6 years, is something that not a lot of people can say. And so, I just think back how kind of chaotic it was of this whole college career. I mean, backing up my brother, watching him ball out his senior year, my freshman year, and then COVID hit, and then I was splitting time in 2020 and 2021, and then finally having the keys in 2022, having a great year, and then getting injured, and then having a down year in 23, and then having the opportunity to come here and just having the year that we've had. I mean, it's very much a roller coaster, but I'm just very grateful, that I've had 4 surgeries in college, and I've only missed a handful of games. And that's the biggest thing that I come back to, that I'm just so lucky to be able to play, and still play, and have an opportunity to play 4 more games, and then hopefully at a professional level.
Awesome. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Justin, go ahead.
Kurtis, that quote from your head coach, Cignetti, the famous one, "Google me, I win." What did that do for this program in terms of confidence going into the season? Because it seemed without a shadow of a doubt that he knew that this team was going to do some damage.
Yeah, I think not only did he know that this team was going to do damage, and that the team had players, but it also showed us that how much he believes in himself and his staff. A lot of the thing is with a bunch of new players and transfers coming into a new program, they don't know really much about the coaches other than the recruiting pitches and all that, right? And so seeing your head coach on a pretty national stage, or say what he said, Google me, even all the ones he had the basketball game when he said, we're going to beat all these people, like that just shows that how confident he is in himself and in the coaches. And that just makes us feel like, yeah, we'll come along with you, coach. We respect him. And I think he got a lot of respect from me, from the rest of the players pretty quickly in the spring, because of, the confidence that he had in himself. And then as the season went on, he was like, we were like, yeah, we can do this. So.
Is there another quote that Coach Cignetti says behind the scenes that we maybe don't know that could be just as famous, that he repeats throughout the season?
No one comes to mind other than the one that he said before, but he's all about not getting complacent and everything like that. So he always tells us, don't get the warm and fuzzies, so that we're not complacent. We're still going on, and no one's just happy with where we are. We still got a lot of work to do. So he says, hope no one has warm and fuzzies, because we got a lot of work to do. So he said that a couple of times. So.
I like that one. My final one would be, do you understand what you have done for Canadian quarterbacks going down to the NCAA, and then now the opportunity that you have with the NFL prospects in front of you, like sort of knocking off that, I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but that disbelief perhaps from some Americans that Canadian quarterbacks can't go down there and do it, that now you've done it at the highest level, that you're going into the CFP playoff. Like, does that resonate with you?
I mean, it's a little surreal for sure. And I'm glad I have the platform and can kind of hopefully pave the way for other Canadian quarterbacks, and have some people look up to me and know that they can make it, and they can play, and they can play at the highest level, and then ultimately, play pro, hopefully. And so, that's all I hope for, is that, people, other Canadian Canadian quarterbacks, that they can, be able to learn from my experience, look up to me and know that they could do it as well. Obviously with Nathan as well. It's cool that we can do that, and I'm glad that it's having such a big impact in Canada. And it's about time that Canada got some respect from the Americans about the Canadians. So
Thanks for your time, man. Go get that natty.
yes, sir.
Bubba, go ahead.
Hey, Kurtis, I know, the story was great about your brother and his love for Brett Favre. I've been meaning to ask you, who's your guy?
See, I never had a guy like Nathan did with Brett Favre. The guy I looked up to was Nathan growing up. So I mean, that was kind of my thing. But I loved watching the quarterbacks during that mid-10s era with Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, those type of guys. They were just so good with their mind. They weren't necessarily the Lamar Jacksons of today's days, but they beat people with their mind and stuff. And so the battles with Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady obviously is just be able to see how they read the field and see how they approach the game. That was something that I definitely looked up to, but I never had the guy that I was just like, that's my guy. But I let that to Nathan. So.
Is there someone at that high level right now at the NFL where you were like, man, that guy's amazing?
Yeah, I mean, I really like what Josh Allen's been doing. I mean, he's having an MVP season for sure. So, and he's a Buffalo guy, obviously. So, but even before this season, I just feel like coming from Wyoming, a G5, and be able to do what he's been able to do and grow. And he's obviously a bigger guy as well. So, I mean, I feel like I relate a little bit to him, but just be able to see how he's progressed and continue to progress, and now he's having an MVP season. So it's been awesome to watch his growth for sure.
Thanks again, partner.
Of course.
Seriously, how can you not be a fan of young Kurtis Rourke? Thanks so much to Lucas Barrett at the CFL and, of course, Indiana University, the fine folks there, for making that happen. Folks, that's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And as you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports, especially with local stars who are making it big. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, the Sportsline podcast do want to hear from you. Please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. And if you do have something to say, want to read those comments, folks. Just so you remember, our popular Christmas toy drive has hit the stretch drive, and so many folks out there have done so many great things for us, but we still need your generosity. In addition to dropping off toys and Christmas gifts for kids right here at the station, any toy that is purchased at JR Toys in Burlington, well, they will make a donation to the drive. In addition, there's an email option at the address that you do see on the screen, so we'd love your help. In addition, believe it or not, items like dryers, curling irons, and body care packs from your local drugstore are in huge demand. With your donation and help, we're going to be helping so many children all over the Golden Horseshoe and Brant County. As I always like to say, for the outstanding people that make the Sportsline podcast possible. Hope it's been a good one for you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.